Okay, yo. So this is how I made around 20K trading both gold and UJ at Asia session. If we just get this up for today, we're up 20K. So the win streak continues. It's going pretty well. And we'll go over exactly how I took these trades. So the trade I took on UJ earlier today was actually at the open of Asia, the first half of Asia. We could obviously see that high time frame was very bearish here. Very, very bearish. Previous day closed bearish as well. And we're in this sort of bearish sort of trending range. We had the open of the new hour meet the open and push bearish for the first 30 minutes. So you pretty much see all my trades is when the hourly candle is immediately pushing in one direction with high volume. It's overextending in one direction. Yesterday's examples, the exact same things happen. So we've opened, immediately pushed bearish and overextended, and then we're approaching around the halfway point of this hourly candle. And my favorite time to take reversals is 37 minutes into the hour with some hourly candle behavior. And I want the 15-minute candle to also move the exact same way that the hourly candle is moving. I want it to open and immediately move in one direction. Yeah. So we have, for the first half, we create that bottom wick here. And then if I drop down onto a little bit lower of the chart, it's a bit of an earlier entry. Normally I would have waited for us to break above this high, but it's still looking relatively decent. We had a bit of a shift on the seconds time frame, but normally I would wait for that break. But we had nice yen correlation here. So yen hourly candle had also done the exact same thing that UJ did, just in the opposite direction. This is the hourly candle open, immediately overextending, pushing bullish for the first half. Around the halfway point, you had a second shift, so you took out this high into taking out this low. So yen shifted bearish. DXY is massively overextended bearish as well here. Very similar, and approaching the halfway point, so looking for a bit of a correction as well. So based off yen and a bit of a reaction shift, this is my favorite sort of time to be looking for reversals. I was like, might as well take this sell. So entered, and we also then had DXY a little bit later on, but we had a really nice shift bullish as well on the 1 minute. And yeah, so really nice, played out pretty quickly. I probably could have held, but it is what it is. I just targeted around this sort of 1 minute structure. I was initially could have targeted 50%, but closed early because it was decreasing in volume, and I also didn't like that this 50-minute candle opened, immediately pushed bullish for the first 5 to 6 minutes. You kind of more likely to have a bit of a reaction, pull back around this sort of time. For gold, I took a sell on gold here. Exactly the same, just in the opposite direction of UJ. We had the hourly candle open, immediately pushed bullish into all-time highs. I'm actually fine with trading all-time highs now. I've gotten a lot better at trading all-time highs on gold, especially counter trend. But when you're trading counter trend, the best time to be taking a counter trend trade is when you're beyond structure. So we're above the highs. And so the best place to take sells is when you're above highs. But you also need to time it with candle behavior. So hourly candle open, immediately push bullish for the first 30 minutes without much of a pullback, a correction towards 50% of this previous move. We didn't have that. And then 50-minute candle opened, also immediately pushed bullish around 37 minutes into the hour. And then we had a nice shift here, took out previous high into taking out previous low. And yeah, pretty nice, pretty nice. Maybe we could have targeted 50% of the previous move, but yeah, that's 37 minutes into the hour. 38, 50-minute candle behavior with hourly candle behavior at the first hour of Asia. Normally I don't trade this time, but I'm experimenting with different times. I feel like I have my shit down locked at the moment. And then I also took another sell a little bit later on. We had the hourly candle open, also immediately pushed bullish for the first half. Didn't really have that 50-minute candle behavior. It was more sort of 30-minute candle behavior. But again, we're at all-time highs. We've broken above all-time highs. So we're where we want to be looking for sells. We've had the previous hourly candle behavior move how we wanted it to move, and then we had it around the time that we want, which is you know, this is kind of the sweet spot. I like to take reversals around 30 to 45 minutes in, as a general sort of timing. So 30 to 45 minutes in, 30 to 45 minutes in. Very consistent, especially when you have the alley candle open like this. So 2 sells on gold, 1 buy on UJ. Maybe could have held the UJ trade, but I'm just trying to trade small reactions in price action. I'm not trying to guess the direction, even though I was right about the direction. I'm just trying to trade small reactions because, you know, you can still get stopped out, but it is what it is. Nice little trade. And then, yeah, so that was kind of it. I did use some gold correlation on my gold sells though. At this point in time for gold spread, we were extremely range bound, and we'd pushed into the highs of that range. And so you're expecting a reaction. So if I pair, you know, gold being above highs, the alley candle overextending bullish, you're being around 30 to 45 minutes into the hour, prime time for reversals when the alley candle moves like that, with this gold spread correlation extending into the high of a range, likely for it to pull back, with some, you know, DXY correlation, it being overextended and having, you know, likely to be some type of little reaction. You kind of aligning things in your favor for it to work out. And even if it's at all-time highs, you can still take a good trade. So yeah, that was the breakdown for today. If you've been looking at my previous sort of recaps, it's very simple. I just identify market structure. I wait for an alley candle to open within that structure, and I just want it to overextend. I want the alley candle to open here, and then overextend for the first 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes into either, you know, the high or the low of that range. Doesn't really matter, but we go beyond structure, high volume, not much of a pullback, and then I just want to wait for a shift and then trade a little reaction of that, little reaction. And then I don't have to be wrong about direction, because if we're going to move bullish, order flow states that we need to move bearish before we move bullish to collect some orders to then move, you know, continue that. If we're going to move bearish, you know, we're going to shift bearish, or we're going to, you know, do something like that. But I'm just trying to catch the smallest, highest probably move in price action, just doing the exact same thing every single day. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a very similar setup. You did kind of have it shift a bit earlier, but I really like when an alley candle opens and immediately overextends in a certain direction. I think that's probably one of my highest probability moves. And yeah, these were the UJ sells a bit early on. You had the alley candle open. This was on Tuesday. Overextend, push bullish. Again, alley candle open, overextend, push bullish for the sells. But yeah, okay. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.